Okay, it's time to do something exciting. Everybody's got these base gravy recipes all over the internet and books, and I'm guilty of it as well in my first book. You know, Bangladeshi inspired mass production garabi or base gravy. Today we're going to do something totally different, something a lot more authentic and a bit more exciting, and more importantly, much tastier and more satisfying. So let's start with the ingredients. Bottom left, we have about 4 fried onions that have been blended. I fried them down very gently for about 20 minutes until they started to brown, and blended them into a smooth paste with a little bit of water. Above that we have some ginger and garlic paste, equal quantities. In the middle bottom here we have about half a cup of cashew nuts that have been boiled and then blended with some milk. To the right of that we have about 4 very ripe, almost wilting tomatoes that have been blended again into a smooth paste. Let's start with the powdered spices. We have some salt, about 1 teaspoon. We have about 2.5 teaspoons of cumin, the same of coriander powder, freshly ground. We have half a teaspoon of turmeric, or churmeric as everybody likes to call it. And we have about 2 teaspoons of chili powder, Kashmiri, and finally we have about just under a teaspoon of garam masala. Next to that we have about a tablespoon of methi or fenugreek leaf. Ooh, let's just make sure the camera can see that actually. So it's here. It's about a tablespoon of fenugreek leaves that have been toasted and scrunched by hand into quite a fine powder. So finally the whole spices, we have about a teaspoon of cumin, we have 3 black cardamoms, a cinnamon stick, 2 prongs of star anise, about half a shard of mace, we have 2 cinnamon leaves, Tejpata, we have 4 cloves, 2 small red chilies, and last but definitely not least we have some, let me think, it's RATANJOT. And what RATANJOT is, it's a very old traditional spice that they've used in India for I don't know how long, but it's very traditional and it achieves the red colour, and a lot of people have they don't use it anymore. They use either degi mirch, chili powder or paprika. So next, let's start with the cooking process. I've heated up about 4 tablespoons of oil. This is going to be enough for 3 or 4 curries, so a lot less oil than the BIR standard approach. And to that I'm going to add all my dry spices, and I'm just going to see the red colour. Can you see the that spice? Look at that red colour, and that's totally natural. So I just don't understand chefs that are using all this horrible food colouring and cheating when you can get it from nature. Look at that, absolutely amazing. I'm going to make sure all those spices are cooked through and giving flavour to the oil. So you can see how interesting this is straight away. Look at it, bright red. Let's give that a couple of seconds to release their flavours. So they're starting to release their flavours and starting to crackle. Next, I did show you the whole batch of ginger and garlic paste. We're not going to use all that. We're going to use about 2.5 tablespoons or dessert spoons of that. You're just going to stir that around to get rid of the raw taste. That shouldn't take too long. We don't want it to burn. Next, we're going to add our tomatoes. What we want to do with the tomatoes is cook them long enough to get rid of that raw taste. Everything's got to be blended well. Just going to let that simmer down for about a minute or two. So that's been sizzling away for about 1 to 2 minutes now, about 90 seconds. As you can see, the oil's starting to split. Next, we're going to add our cashew nut paste. A lot of restaurants are substituting cashews with peanuts or ever cheaper nuts. So it's really nice to use something quite expensive and really good quality. And that's the great thing about cooking at home. You know what you're getting. So let's just make sure that's stirred in well. And again, we want to get the raw taste out. We want it to mix well with the rest of the ingredients and get to a high temperature to get rid of the raw taste. Right. And I bet a lot of people are not familiar with watching videos where people are using a wooden spoon. That horrible scraping noise you get, as I said on the last video. Not very pleasant. And again, I'm going to let that simmer down for about 2 minutes and we'll come back to it. Again, we've come back to that after about 90 seconds, and always a good sign to see whether something's cooked and ready to add the next ingredient is you can see the oil splitting away from the rest of the ingredients. And now it's time to add our onion paste. And this is fine to be added in at a later stage because it has been thoroughly fried previously. So let's give that a stir. Whoops. Let's add our dry spices and also our methi. We're going to give that a stir. The smell is amazing. So much more reassuring and much more interesting than doing that BIR style. Look at the colours, look at the flavours, everything natural. There's quite a lot of work that goes into the preparation, you know, the grinding, the blending, the boiling, but really on the whole this takes a lot less time and so much more rewarding. Anybody who makes it, I'm sure that when you taste it you'll want to switch. If you're already making the BIR style, you'll definitely want to try this. This is amazing. You can use it for any type of curry, you know, because this is only the base gravy. You name it, meat, fish, vegetables, whatever. So at this stage, I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water to make sure that cooks long enough without drying up. Just going to stir that in. You might want to put a lid on that. We're going to come back to that in a few minutes. So that's been bubbling away now for about 2.5 minutes, and you know, I think just looking at it is a testimony to its amazingness. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to finally sieve that, and you'll see that all the whole spices can be omitted, and it's ready to use in a curry. So if you do have any questions, any suggestions, you name it, just comment. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe. I'm sure this is going to continue, and I'm going to make a lot more videos in the future, and hopefully be a little bit different from a lot of the others, and try and be unique and come up with some amazing food. Okay, thanks for watching.